town?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever, well, you live in Houston. How long have you lived in Houston?
Over 40 years.
40 years. And so you moved away in your early 20s?
When I finished high school, I went to college, and from there, I married and moved into Houston.
Okay. Where did you go to college?
TV.
Great.
And TSU.
Okay. What was your major?
Pre-med, biology, chemistry.
So did you go into the medical profession?
That was my intent. But I got sidetracked by getting married. And from there, I decided to go into teaching temporarily, and ended up being something I really loved and enjoyed. So that's what I did.
All right. So how long did you teach?
I'm still teaching now.
You're still teaching?
Yeah.
Okay. What grade?
8th grade.
So you have the, what is it, the junior high? Or?
Junior high.
Junior high. You have a tough age, so you must have
13,
really liked it.
14, over age 1, 15, 16. I do. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy my middle school kids, high school kids, and I don't care. Elementary school, too big. I like just being that age group where you can kind of mold and transform and have a little more impact on kids.
Okay. What subjects do you teach?
I teach 8th grade science.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your own family, like your children and what they're doing now.
Okay. I have 3 kids. My oldest, Tony Jr. My middle son, Christopher, and my baby girl, Tiffany.
Okay.
They're into technology, information specialists.
Okay. So IT and
IT, 2 of them are, 1 of them is not.
Okay. Great. All right. Well, you know we're here today to talk about Jasper in 1998, what it was like, in comparison to Jasper today. Can you give me a characterization of Jasper at that time, 1998, as far as how people got along, how people of different races communicated, or how they interacted with each other?
Well, I guess from my perspective, I was raised in a household in which racism was not a problem. My mom and dad never taught us to be racist or to be afraid of anyone of any other race. So we always had confidence within ourselves. That we were equal or as good or better than anyone else. And so I never had the fear of the other race of people. So I freely walked the streets of Jasper without being overly concerned. There were problems with racism, of course, when you go to the downtown area with the water fountains and other things like that. I was never a direct victim. Like many people had names called to them, but that was not true of our family. No. There were problems, and there still are problems. It's as if you were kind of like non-existent, but at the same time you enjoyed your own world. So you didn't want to be a part of their world anyway. So their ignoring you didn't really bother you because you didn't really want to go into that world. And we had our own high school, and we enjoyed our own high school. The problem was that our schools were not given the equipment needed to prepare us for the next level of college or whatever it was. The books we received were old, outdated. There were names written all the way down through us, and you didn't know where to write your name because other people had used it, and when they got through with it, then they sent it up to our school. But we had great teachers. They were dedicated. And as far as I know, the majority of us learned how to read, write, math. We didn't have a problem with the literacy with the kids in my age group. So we had a great group of teachers. So I guess I'm kind of, we didn't raise our kids also think of people in terms of races. And so when this incident happened, it was a shocker. At the same time now, I live in the real world. I knew what was going on in Houston, Alabama. Segregation was a big problem. My husband was one of the ones at TSU during the riots. So I knew what was going on in that time period. We had a lot of issues like that. But as far as being personally impacted when I was growing up, it was more subtle. It wasn't more direct about me and my family.
What was your husband's occupation?
He worked for a pipe company in Houston. He recently died, so he just left me alone.
Okay. And also, tell me a little bit more about your parents, because I've heard that it was because of them that it was as peaceful as it was, because of the way they felt or the way they handled the situation.
Well, like I said, my mom has always been a very strong woman, very religious minded, and my dad also. And so they taught us, they instilled those same values in us. You treat people the way you want to be treated, and you set the example, and you never lower your standards. You set your bar up high, and you live up to your parents' expectations. That was expected of us. So when this happened, we just kind of followed through what was ingrained within us.
Okay. All right. Now, my next question is, what is your connection to James Byrd Jr.? I know that he's your sister. Your brother, or you're his sister. Well, how do you fall in that birth order, in your birth order?
I am the second oldest, so he is under me, 1 year younger than I am.
Okay. And so you, of course, knew him very well. You guys
yes.
Okay.
Everybody in Jasper knows James Byrd. I mean, when you grew up in that time period, you knew the son, or Toe as they called him, or James. Yeah.
Can you characterize him? Give me something about his personality?
That's a good word there. He was a character. He was very outgoing, very outspoken, very talented, had an opinion on everything. He loved the limelight, and more of a people person. He loved to make you laugh, entertain you, and at the same time get on your last nerve because he thought he was always right about everything. He knew something about everything that was going on, and had a possible solution to it. And you didn't agree with him, then there was an argument coming with that. So that was James. He loved the limelight. That's just he was a character. So there's always one in every family. He was that one.
At least one.
At least one. Sometimes two.
Yeah, sometimes two.
He was that one growing up. Never afraid to take chances, to speak up, to be out in the forefront.
Okay. And what in your opinion, why do you think the killing happened at that time, in that particular manner?
Be a little more specific.
Like, why do you think do you think it was because, these are just three guys that were upset, or do you think it was the climate, or some of the things that were going on in the city at that time that angered them, or what are your feelings about why something that horrific would happen?
I think it was a plan by some individuals to start, it was already a racist group in Jasper, let's just say to recruit more members and to make it a little more well-known, the KKK and other organizations. The young men that were involved have been incarcerated, had come in contact with racism, and they become very, very strong feelings towards people of different races, as indicated by the tattoos that they had and the words that they used. So they had no respect for anyone that's not of their race. So they came into Jasper as former prison mates, I guess you could say, and they began to recruit. And that's how they got the young Barry involved. And of course, even though his dad says he's not raised to be a racist, something about what they were teaching, what they were saying, attracted his attention. So they in turn were looking for something to make a name for themselves.
Okay.
So it was like they went out that night looking for something to do to make, I guess, headlines, I guess. It may have started out with them just shooting mailboxes, and when the thrill of that was gone, they stepped up their game. That's what actually happened. So James happened to be walking home that night, where he should be, walking down Martin Luther King. So this is what happened.
How would you describe the political climate at that time, as far as leadership and the city council, school board? How would you characterize that?
I can't really comment on that because I wasn't living in Jasper at that time period, so it would be unfair for me to make any comments other than what I've heard my mom and sister say. So that would not be fair to answer that.
Okay.
What's a black mirror, though?
All right. What do you think about the media coverage?
I think it was tremendous. It was overwhelming at first. Because at first we had decided we're not going to be doing interviews. But then we began to realize that if we didn't speak up, then people were going to say what they wanted to say. And so it's best that they quote what we had to say and for them to kind of guess what needs to be said. So once we opened that door, and we felt that if we interviewed with one TV station or one newspaper, that everyone deserved the same opportunity. So whether it was a small newspaper with, out in the boondocks, or a big newspaper, or a small TV station, or a large one, we decided to divide the responsibility up and interview with everyone who wanted to get through an interview. So we tried to accommodate everyone. And that was tiring. Because she would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do Good Morning America or other shows like that. And Oprah and other shows.
So would they come to you, or would you have to fly to?
No, we did our interviews here in Jasper. So they would camp out in front of our house in the morning time.
A little easier than
Yeah, definitely so. And it just had to be in Jasper.
okay.
Even with Oprah.
Sorry about that.
Well, it's your phone. Sounds just like mine. I think the media coverage was it was an eye-opener too, because we realized that you have to be really, really cautious about what you say to the media. Because sometimes what's said is taken out of context. We don't get a chance to go back and edit what you said. And when you read it, you say, oh, I didn't mean it like that. That's not what I meant to say. But a lot of them were very honest in their approaches. There was some we really got really close to. They gave really good coverage. And I come to find out that the coverage was nationwide. Some of my students at that time said they had newspapers that some of the friends had from Colombia, other countries. So it received worldwide coverage. We got coverage in Britain, BBC. It was just nationwide. So for that, we're really grateful, because this kind of crime could have very easily struck on the world. And I received, recognition. You might not receive the media coverage that you should have been given to us.
What do you think made this particular case different? Because there have been hangings and that type of thing before, but I don't think they received this amount of coverage.
I think one of the keys was Billy Rose, because when he first saw what had happened and realized it was a hate crime, he immediately realized that he needed help. He went to the FBI, and by him going to the FBI and getting them involved, I think that was the key, because the FBI assured us they would make sure that there would be no grounds for an appeal, the chain of custody for the evidence would be followed, everything would be done just so. Jenny Reno, who was the Attorney General at that time, also called to assure us that justice would be done. The President called. Everyone around, just all the Black Caucus in Washington, they came down. Everyone assured us we had his name, Jackson. Yeah, he came into Jasper. And so with that much coverage, and then the assurance, and we were always down talking to the police. What's going on? What's happening? When it seemed as if they were not moving as fast as we thought they should have been, then they would give us an update. Okay, what's going on? We'll make sure. And he said, just be patient, because we have to make sure that everything is done just so. And they did it.
Yeah, I hear that the president put a line in someone's house, or I think your mother's house. She could talk.
Yeah, my mom only had that one phone, no call waiting, and the phone rang day and night. And of course, she received phone calls from all over the world. And what was interesting about that, as you look back over it now, is that it was people that were calling to be comforted. It's kind of odd, because instead of comforting us, we were trying to comfort them, because they were crying so hard and they were so upset, and so the things they wanted to do, they wanted to come in and break those guys out of jail and do this. Can we do this for you? Can we do this for you? Just give us the word. We'll take care of it. We'll burn this city down, this country down. We'll do this. Just give us the word. I really need to say yes, yes, yes.
Wow.
And then a lot of people, especially of the white race, called, and they were so embarrassed and they were so upset. They were really hurt. They just cried. So sometimes they're comforting a lot of people. So the phone rang day and night. And I guess because of the time difference, they didn't realize that it may be nighttime, 2 o'clock in the morning here in Texas, and you're calling from England, we're across the world, it's morning time. So we got phone calls continuously. So the president couldn't get through. He kept calling. So finally, who called? I think it's press agent. Said the president's been trying to get through.